has been a big part of this case, and you obviously witnessed this. And I'm just asking, is it still your view that because that he is an important witness in all this, that has an important explanation? And before you answer, I can read it before you answer. We are on 3753. And we are from line 5. And this is the lawyer asking the question. Regardless, does this document help refresh your recollection as to whether the signature the proof process was done completely on the new computer, or whether it involved two computers? I have no memory of it, so this document is the best record of what probably happened. So you would defer to this document, yes?
And your question for me is?
Basically, do you still think he's saying here, I have no memory of it? Do you still think that Andreessen's opinion of this, of what happened, is important?
Important to what?
To Craig Wright's claim of being Satoshi Nakamoto.
For me personally, no. Because I have some very special and unique experiences of interacting with Dr. Wright in the years when he was creating what is known as Bitcoin. But, I look at this that you just read to me, and Gavin can't remember clearly whether the proof was done on two computers or one. Well, I can tell you that the proof was done first on one computer and then repeated exactly the same signings from exactly the same blocks using exactly the same keys on a completely newly set up machine that was brought in later in the day. That's what I can tell you happened.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions. I understand that you were convinced from very early on that Craig Wright is Satoshi Nakamoto. So it isn't of any importance to you that he proves whether or not he is. But either way, it's a big commotion. Is it of any importance to the company that you're chairing whether it is Satoshi Nakamoto or not?
That's a very difficult question to answer, but I'll be honest in my own mind. As we sit here today, no. The N-Chain Group, for example, is a company that's 7 years old, and it has 285 staff. It has thousands of filings with the patent offices around the world. It's developing very significant capabilities in software and software as a service solutions. So the fact that Dr. Wright is chief scientist obviously was important in the development of the construct around intellectual property. But Craig has no day-to-day management operation in the company. His wish when he spoke to me in 2015 has been delivered. He sits generally remotely to the business and injects ideas into the business, does tutorial and whiteboard sessions with the research group, but the business is the business. And the question, does the value of N-Chain change? I can't say one way or the other. I can see arguments both ways. Does Craig being publicly recognised as Satoshi Nakamoto change the value of BSV in the market? You'd have to ask investors and speculators. I'm not an investor in that sense. And my other company that I'm involved with as chairman of the public company is a company that's providing mining services on several SHA-256 blockchains, and we're developing a whole software suite for organisations that want to blockchain enable their businesses. So yes, I guess to some degree, Craig's identity matters for for those businesses, but on the other hand, not so much. The businesses are what they are, and they will go. They've got their own strategies and plans.
So, do I understand you correctly that you are not sure whether or not it is of importance that the person claiming or telling the world that he is Satoshi Nakamoto has a link to the, let's use the fork is Satoshi Vision? Bitcoin Satoshi Vision?
It's obviously got a nexus, but how valuable that is and how important it is really difficult for me to quantify.
I think you answered my next question. Then I just have a very quick question. You said quite early in your testimony regarding Matonis and he having a feeling that he had had coffee with Satoshi Nakamoto and that he had mentioned that to his wife.
Yeah.
And somehow that the information got to you. Did his wife tell this to you before or after the proving session with Matonis?
His wife told me this at a dinner that we had in in London, and it would have been after.
So that information had nothing to do with you choosing Matonis?
No, it was, the reason I say it was after, it was around the time that I invited John Matonis. John and I met, and through discussion he joined N-Chain for that period of time, which was roughly a year after the signing sessions.
There appear to be no more questions for you. Is there anything you... One follow-up question.
The value of the IP that you bought. When the decisions from the ATO came, and they alleged that there was some manipulated documentation, etc. Did that change your view on what the value of the IP was?
No.
And were you made aware of these allegations beforehand, or did you just become aware of those at the ATO decisions?
Well, those allegations came in the window between signing the term sheets, the heads of terms, and executing the definitive agreements in December that year. So, if you're the dates, if I recall correctly, you're telling me those allegations came in June, July. Then we went on to sign the definitive agreements in December. So no, that didn't affect our view on the IP.
You didn't believe it, or it didn't have an effect, or?
Didn't have an effect.
Is there anything you would like to add that you haven't been asked?
No, I don't think so. I think things have been quite thorough.
Thank you.
Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin wallet, blockchain, stablecoins, MetaNet, the evolution of money. Everybody is talking about Bitcoin today, but what exactly is it? Learn the basics from experts. Learn what Bitcoin is, how it works, and why it matters. Bitcoin 101, your ultimate guide to the fundamentals of blockchain.